The Gift of Gratitude. A reflection from the Meaning of Life series. There is a quiet power that has the ability to transform the way we see the world. It does not require wealth. It does not require success. It does not depend on perfect circumstances. It lives in something far simpler, yet far deeper. It lives in gratitude. Gratitude is not merely saying thank you. It is a way of seeing life. It is the ability to pause in the middle of an ordinary moment and recognize that something beautiful is already here. And when we begin to see life through the lens of gratitude, something extraordinary happens. The world begins to change, not because the world itself has changed, but because our hearts have opened to its beauty. The quiet miracle of being alive. Every day begins with a miracle that most of us rarely stop to notice. We wake up. Our heart continues to beat. Our lungs continue to breathe. The sun rises once again over the horizon. The world begins another day of life, movement, and possibility. And yet, because these things happen every day, we often forget how extraordinary they are. The breath we take without thinking. The ability to walk, speak, listen, and see. The presence of people who share our lives. These are not small things. They are profound gifts. Gratitude begins when we recognize that life itself is a gift. Why gratitude changes everything. Human beings have a natural tendency to focus on what is missing. We notice what has gone wrong. We dwell on what we wish were different. We compare ourselves to others and feel that we are somehow lacking. But gratitude gently shifts our attention. Instead of asking what is missing, gratitude asks a different question. What is already here? When we begin asking that question, the world begins to reveal itself in a new light. The warmth of a morning sunrise. The sound of laughter shared with friends. The quiet comfort of being understood. Gratitude helps us see that life is filled with moments of beauty that we once overlooked. The small moments that matter. Often, when people imagine gratitude, they think of major blessings, important achievements, significant milestones, or extraordinary experiences. But the deepest gratitude often comes from the simplest moments. A cup of warm tea on a cold morning. The feeling of sunlight touching your face. The peaceful silence of an evening sky. The presence of someone who listens without judgment. These moments may seem small, yet they carry a quiet richness. When we notice them, they begin to fill our lives with a sense of wonder. Life does not become meaningful only through grand experiences. Life becomes meaningful when we learn to appreciate the moments we are already living. Gratitude and the heart. Gratitude has a way of softening the heart. When we feel grateful, resentment begins to dissolve. Comparison begins to fade. The restless desire for more begins to quiet. In its place, something gentle appears. Contentment. Contentment does not mean we stop growing or pursuing our dreams. It means we learn to appreciate the present moment while we continue the journey. It means we understand that happiness is not always waiting somewhere in the future. Often, it is quietly present in the life we already have. Gratitude during difficult times. It is easy to feel grateful when life feels smooth and joyful. But the true depth of gratitude appears during times of challenge. Life will always bring moments of difficulty. There will be days when things do not go as planned. There will be moments of loss, uncertainty, and struggle. Yet even during these times, gratitude can remain. Not because we ignore pain, but because we recognize that even within hardship there are lessons, growth, and unexpected kindness. A supportive friend during a difficult time. A moment of quiet strength when we thought we could not continue. The realization that we are stronger than we once believed. Gratitude does not deny the reality of hardship. Instead, it helps us see that light can still exist even in the darkest moments. The signs of gratitude in the human spirit. Across cultures and traditions, gratitude has been recognized as one of the most powerful forces in the human experience. It changes not only how we think but how we feel. When we practice gratitude, our minds begin to focus on possibility rather than scarcity. Our attention moves toward appreciation rather than dissatisfaction. Our hearts become more open. And something remarkable happens. We begin to experience life more deeply. Gratitude brings a sense of richness to life that cannot be measured by possessions or status. It reminds us that the true wealth of life lies in our ability to appreciate what is already here. Gratitude and human connection. One of the most beautiful expressions of gratitude is the way it strengthens relationships. When we express gratitude toward others, we acknowledge the value they bring into our lives. A simple thank you. A sincere expression of appreciation. A moment taken to recognize someone's kindness. These small gestures carry tremendous power. They deepen trust. They build warmth. They remind people that their presence matters. Gratitude has the ability to transform relationships because it replaces assumption with appreciation. Instead of taking people for granted, we begin to see them as gifts. Gratitude for the natural world. There is another place where gratitude naturally arises, the natural world. When we pause and observe nature, we often feel a quiet sense of awe. The vastness of the sky. The rhythm of the ocean. The gentle movement of trees in the wind. Nature reminds us that life is larger than our daily worries. It invites us to slow down and remember that we are part of something vast and beautiful. When we feel gratitude for the earth, we begin to care for it more deeply. We see the world not as something to consume but as something to protect and cherish. And in that realization, our sense of connection grows. Gratitude and presence. Gratitude and presence are deeply connected. We cannot feel true gratitude while rushing through life without awareness. Gratitude requires us to pause. To notice. To recognize what is already here. When we slow down enough to observe life with attention, gratitude begins to arise naturally. The beauty of a moment. The kindness of a gesture. The miracle of existence itself. Gratitude transforms presence into appreciation. And presence transforms appreciation into joy. The ripple effect of gratitude. Gratitude does not remain contained within the individual who feels it. It spreads. When one person lives with gratitude, it affects the way they interact with the world. They speak more kindly. They listen more patiently. They treat others with greater understanding. And those small acts ripple outward into the lives of others. In this way, gratitude becomes a quiet force for good. A single grateful heart can inspire countless moments of kindness. And those moments can slowly change the atmosphere of the world around us. The meaning of life and gratitude. When we reflect on the meaning of life, gratitude appears as one of its most beautiful keys. Gratitude reminds us that life is not something we must conquer or control. It is something we are invited to experience. When we live with gratitude, we stop measuring life only by what we achieve. Instead, we begin to measure life by how deeply we appreciate it. We learn to see the value of each moment. We begin to understand that even an ordinary day contains extraordinary beauty. And through that awareness, life begins to feel richer, fuller, and more meaningful. A simple practice. Gratitude does not require complicated rituals. It can begin with something very simple. At the end of the day, pause for a moment. Reflect on 3 things that brought you even a small amount of joy. Perhaps it was a conversation. Perhaps it was the warmth of sunlight. Perhaps it was the quiet comfort of a peaceful moment. By noticing these moments, we train the mind to recognize the abundance already present in our lives. Over time, gratitude becomes less of a practice and more of a natural way of seeing. Living a life of gratitude. Imagine a life guided by gratitude. A life where appreciation replaces constant dissatisfaction. Where each day is approached with curiosity and wonder. Where the people around us are valued and acknowledged. Such a life does not eliminate hardship, but it transforms the way we experience it. Because gratitude reminds us that even during difficult seasons, there are still reasons to be thankful. And those reasons become sources of strength. The final reflection. In the end, the gift of gratitude is not something life gives to us. It is something we give to life. It is a way of meeting each moment with open eyes and an open heart. It is the quiet realization that life, with all its imperfections and mysteries, is still deeply beautiful. And when we begin to live with gratitude, something subtle yet profound begins to happen. Life feels fuller. The heart feels lighter. And the meaning of life becomes clearer. Because in the simple act of appreciating what is already here, we discover that life has been offering us gifts all along. All we needed to do was notice them.